going on, everybody? How you doing? All right, I think we're about to set here. I think we're ready. Here we go. So welcome to it. This is, let me see, third DLC we've had this year? Second or third? Fourth? I don't know. I've had a bunch of them. And we're back on Chellington. Let me bring this up right like so. I didn't know what to throw on here because it's kind of a different DLC pack. Let's see what you think of it when we get into it. And this thing is a potato-specific weeder, I guess. Oh. So if we go here and then here and go over to the brand itself, right here. So this is the first thing I noticed. These aren't part of the DLC, but check this out. This is a 3-meter planter. This is a 6-meter planter. All right, keep that in mind. So we scroll over here to the Grimme pack, the one that we just downloaded. So this is a 1.5-meter weeder, 2.5-meter weeder, 6-meter weeder. And then these are the planters. This one's 1.5 meter. This one's 1.5 meter as well. But this one fertilizes. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at these. I was really surprised by that. I thought it was going to be more of almost like an industrial potato kind of DLC, but neither one of these, you know what I mean? Neither one of these strike me as industrial. Now, it could be because we've already got some of this other stuff over here. We've got a 3-meter and a 6-meter planter. Could be that this is made to be a little bit smaller, maybe? I don't know. We'll find out when we get into it. And then we've got this. So this is a harvester. This is 1.5 meter. This is a header. Right? This harvester extracts the potatoes from the ground, automatically offloads them to form windrows to be collected by the SE8555. What does this do? Are these different? What's the difference between these two? 68 horsepower, 72 horsepower? We'll have to take a look. I don't know that there's any difference between these two. One is the Eco and one is the S. All right. And then this is a standalone harvester. All right. And does this make a windrow as well? And then this is the collector. So when you use these two, it leaves them in a windrow. I don't know if this one leaves them in a windrow as well. And then this is pulled single row harvester. Collects the potatoes previously harvested. So this is like a loading wagon almost. Okay. And then this thing goes in a placeable area. It's not a placeable. I think you pick it up and put it down. But it looks like this goes in a placeable area and you use it to fill pallets similar to this thing right here that comes with base game. Okay. I'm down with that. And then what else? There's a belt system. And I guess that works with this thing. And then there are 2 trailers. Yep, 2 trailers. So we'll kind of work our way through. And I guess the first thing we need to do is get some potatoes in the ground. I didn't have a chance to plant any because I didn't know this was all we got as far as planters. I didn't know we were working with 1.5 meter. I don't want to plant with those. So we'll go with, this is 170 horsepower. I think we can go with this one. Oh, hey, Fred. How you doing? Oh, that's too bad. Sorry you got canceled. That always... I know, like, when you get yourself all organized and you expect something to happen and then it doesn't, that can be disappointing. Let's get this thing out of the way first. So we're going to hop in here. And let's get this put somewhere. I'm going to keep it. We already have it, so I'm going to keep it. And we will... I don't know. Figure out how to use it after we get everything in the ground. So I think if we get the 6-meter planter on the John Deere, carefully, kind of when zooming in there, if we get the 6-meter on the John Deere, then we'll put the 3-meter on this thing. We'll get 2 tractors planting potatoes at the same time. While that's going on, there's a little bit of fertilizing we can finish up, and then we'll speed up time, get the potatoes fertilized, and then try to harvest them with some of that new kit. All right, so let's leave this here for now. I do have store deliveries. I don't typically use it on camera, but we will in this case. So we'll have these dropped off right here. We want the 3-meter, and we can just lease these. There's no reason to own these. And lease this as well. Good, good. Man, it's really a crazy time. Oh, we need some... we load these with regular seed. We load these with potatoes. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I don't really do a lot with potatoes. I think it's just seed, but then when it goes in there, it registers as potato. So let's do 4 or 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Bad. I hope we could load these things. What? What? Did they not spawn in right there? Hang on. Try this again. Foxy, what's happening? Haven't seen you in a minute. How you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. I don't know where those other ones went. I think probably down at the store. All right. So hop in the 7 and get this big planter going. Pardon me. Clip through the wall there. We'll get this big planter going, and after that's going, we'll hop in the JCB, get the little planter going, and then we can knock out the rest of the fertilizer. The only thing we have left to fertilize is grass. There it is. GPS is not active on this vehicle. We bought it with GPS, did we not? Yeah, okay, it was just turned off. All right, so... Yep, that is filling. So these planters do take regular seed. Man, I could really do without that. There we go. I will need to go into the settings and turn that display off. I'm not sure why it's doing that. We had GPS on this tractor last episode, but it wasn't showing a line. I know there's a setting to turn it off if you don't need to see it. Yeah, I don't normally run a lot of John Deere equipment, but I do like this one. Let's see where we're at as far as how full this thing is. And I don't know how full it needs to be. I want to say I always get this backwards. I always either load these up with more potatoes than I need to or less, but I feel like I never get the amount of seed correct. So let's come back out here and buy. We'll just get 5 more of these. We'll use them all. And this is more of a 3, 4, 5. This is more of a fun map. I feel like Western Shore is going to be our grindy map, and this can be a map where we just have some fun. All right. Not in the trigger. Ernie, how you doing? I kind of wanted to get this set up off camera, but I'm okay with doing it on camera. As long as we don't hit the wheelbarrow. Come on now. I kind of like the combo on this map as well, where you, sort of like the Western Shore, where you need big equipment, but the yards are small enough that it's sort of tricky to use big equipment. Off the top of my head, I don't know, Foxy. That's a very good question. I wonder sometimes when they're putting together these deals with the different manufacturers, I wonder sometimes if certain manufacturers don't, sort of come at them a certain way as far as, how they want their brand represented in game. I do wonder. And I'm also going to, while we're here, let's do, now this takes liquid fertilizer, does it not? I certainly hope so. Almost positive it is liquid fert. What are you thinking, Fried? Honestly, I was a little bit surprised. Yep, it does take liquid. Wow, and it doesn't take very much at all. 800 liters. Okay. What are you thinking, Fried? I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be, I guess, sort of like the Horsch DLC and the Ropa DLC that were seemed more geared toward bigger industrial farming. I thought it was going to be kind of a big set, since we already had some sort of I don't know, family farm sized Grimme stuff. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. So surprised. I got to get rid of that. What's our key command for open the, what's it called? Guidance steering? Open the guidance steering menu. We need to turn that line off since we're not using it. Scrolling. Continuing to scroll. Come on now. Here we go. Guidance steering. Toggle guidance steering menu. Left control S. All right, we got it. Yeah, it's tricky because I know everybody already forgot. Left control S. Yep. So we want show lines off. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, it's tricky because everybody, I think, has a different idea of what they want their farm to look like, what they want their farm to be. Oh, God. Do we own that field? No, we do not. Okay. Let's see how the weeds are. Yep. Oh, that's right. We're not running seasons. Okay. I'm so used to seasons weeds. That's our grass field right there. We'll need to get out there and get after that, get it weeded. And where's the entrance to this one? Up around the top, I think. Everybody farms a different way, so it is tricky because, I guess there's also the sort of the taste and sensibility of the modder. You know, this was not made by Giants. This was made by a third-party crew. If they're really into small farming, right, that's going to be reflected in the DLC that they build, and it's going to be more of a... Is it this one? No, it's the next one. I want to go over to the next one, the really big field, and use the bigger planter in that one. Still learning my way around the new parts of the map. More for MP? Yeah, I mean, I think the trailers sort of give that away. But I was really surprised that the planters were 1.5 meter. Because if you had to plant, like the field that we're going to right now, if you had to plant that field with a 1.5 meter planter, I think you'd go crazy. Potatoes are slow enough as it is. I don't know that they need to be any slower. They are definitely UK streets. Foxy, this is Chellington 19. Oh, dear. Just DGAF. This is Chellington 19. It was definitely a 17 map. It may have been a 15 map as well. I think I played it maybe once or twice in 15. I could be remembering that wrong. I know it was definitely a 17 map. All right, now here's the other problem that I have with potatoes is they do that weird stuff with the terrain. So I don't necessarily want to put a headland in because that looks a little, you know what I'm saying, a little wonky. So let's get this thing unfolded. And maybe we'll just go on a dumb worker. Yeah, let's just go dumb worker and see if they sort of mind the edges of the field. They may or may not. Oh. Yeah, scale is tricky. I think because this equipment is so big. Like, I forget how big it is in real life. I was on my way last year. I remember I was on my way somewhere and I saw a John Deere 8 Series tractor parked where we were stopping, and it was as big as a house. It was crazy how big it is. So I think scale is tricky for map makers because it's like the scale always looks wrong even when it's right. But then they play around with the scale a little bit as well to give some different sort of optical illusions, deliberately, but to make things look further away, closer, whatever. So we want, right, trying to get on 180 degrees. All right. Let's see if this works. Small cabless tractors doing potatoes. That sounds very cool. All right. Now, is this planting everything? Or are these rows in between? Hang on. Hang on. Stop. 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 Hang on. Is this the... yeah, this is the proceed debacle. I believe this happened once before. Now, if I can't bring up the... proceed... yeah. Damn it, man. It did this before. Where we don't have our proceed menu. And it's putting in tram lines. And there's no way for me to bring in the proceed menu. Yeah, oh, you know, it did this before. It did this on, yeah, this was part of our, oh man, this is really, really making me sad. It did this on Purbeck Valley. DLC, at the moment it is. I'm sure it'll be cracked in the next 10 minutes. So there is a workaround for this. When you go to the Proceed website, I don't know who it is, but it's very shouty. And what they tell you is you have to go in and edit the XML to reposition the Proceed pop-up, the Proceed menu. But I don't think you can do that while the game's running, and I really don't want to start it over. I don't know why it defaults to... I don't know why it defaults to having the tram lines on, and when I looked just now here, I didn't see a way to turn them off. What are we looking for? Proceed. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh no, Ernie, I got mine through Steam. It's available through Steam as well if you want to buy it there. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you meant is it coming directly from Giants. Toggle mouse cursor. This doesn't do anything for me. Half side shut off. That's not us. Tramline distance. Yeah, this is... I'm not really sure what to do about this. We can continue on here and see if the next row has... Okay, so this row does not now. No, it does. All right. Well, we'll let it roll for a minute and see if it turns them off for the next row. But as I recall, this is when things began to go off the rails on Purbeck Valley. All right. Not how I wanted to start the stream. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't necessarily like to do headlands with potatoes because it makes that weird 3D texture. That's the only 3D texture. Yeah, well, this is totally effed, and there's nothing I can do about it other than restarting the game. I would have to turn the game off, edit an XML file, and then come back. What a downer. I do apologize. All right, I mean, I did find a thread where they talked about this exact problem in Proceed, and you need to go in and reset the coordinates for the menu, because it's essentially off screen right now. And, okay. Uninstall, you know what? That's a fantastic idea. You're a genius, Fried. That's way quicker. All right, stand by. All right, so if we hop right in here, stop that. I'm gonna go here. Save game. You know what? I think I can do this on screen. and it won't lose the EXE. I think it'll stay hooked in. Okay. I was going to go to my BRB screen. I don't think we have to. So we'll go back in career, go back in here, and then scroll down. Yeah, good call. Thank you for that tip. I would not have thought of that. This is what my mods look like after I clean them out. Proceed. PQRP. There it is. All right. Yeah, I was a little surprised because Proceed is kind of a, I tend to think of it as a sort of a realism mod, and realism mods, I always think of them as being more refined because they are focusing on, I don't know, a different type of player, a more realistic PC player, maybe. I tend to think of them as being just better mods, and the support is better, that sort of thing. And to see the fix be, you know, you got to do all these things. I think, well, why don't you figure out what the problem is? Why don't you figure out why it's doing that? And then I won't have to fix it. All right, so how do we sort these out? Let's go. I think we're going to need to just go over these 2 rows again manually. And then from there, we'll let the hired worker take over. All right. Okay, that's not as bad. I thought that was going to just tear everything up. Not too bad. So anyway, I never know what to do about headlands with potatoes because it does have the 3D texture and it will sort of wrap it around. And I think it looks really odd when you have the perpendicular headlands for potatoes. All right, so turn that on, drop that, and we'll get these sorted. Okay. Now, is it going to sort this? It is. Fantastic. So I did get everything scanned for precision farming. I did get lime down on all the fields. And I did get fertilizer down on all the arable fields. I think I got about half the grass fields done. And then I ran out of time. I don't know if it's possible to make a mod like that, but I would like to see tramlines set up that way, where you do seed the entire field, and then you activate the, I don't know, call it the tramline maker when you go in for your first spray, and that's what creates the tramlines. I know you can do it manually just by using regular tires, but I find them to be a little bit uneven. You know, those types of tram lines, but I guess in real life that is how they're made. So I would think that somebody could come up with a mod that would let you make them that way. I think you'd have a lot more control over them, and it would be a lot easier to calculate because you could use the tips of your booms to calculate that outermost sort of loop around the field, and then just line up the end of the boom with everything that you already have sprayed from the headland to do your lengths or your perpendiculars or whatever you want to call them. But what do I know? All right, so I'm just going to the hedge. I'm not going to try to go all the way to the edge of the field. All right. And these, I know this map has multi-terrain angle, but it looks like even though we're, jackknife. Even though we're on, I thought we were on exactly 180 degrees, it looks like they're not quite parallel. I don't know what's going on there. Not super critical. All right. So that is exactly 180 degrees. And once again, after a brief delay, we are planting potatoes. Beautiful. And then the other thing is, are we putting down, if we come up here and zoom in, are we putting down another layer of fert? And we check that here. It looks like we're not. Okay, so I sprayed one layer of fertilizer on and then I cultivated. So I think it's not going to take another layer of fertilizer until these potatoes grow a little bit. Okay, not a big deal. So let's run to the farm. You know what? Let's just tab. Let's just tab. We lost a few minutes there. Let's try to make some time up. All right, so now into the JCB. There we go. Now I got the DLC. Well, it downloaded, I want to say about 10 o'clock this morning. It downloaded for me. And I haven't had a chance to really see any of the equipment yet. The only thing I've seen is that weeder. We want seed. 2 of those. The only thing I've seen is that weeder, so I can't even tell you like what the quality of it is. I seriously haven't seen any of it yet. All right, so there is that. Continue backing up here. Oh, there's another one behind us. Okay. Thought there were just 2 that we had. All right. And up to, what is it? Field 25? Camera, I've never figured that out. I don't know what is causing the camera to jump like that. Periodically it will just like flip 180 degrees. I think it's getting a phantom input from one of my devices, but I don't know which one it is. And that was the whole reason I got the new mouse. I'm very happy with the new mouse. I love it. But I really, it turns out in hindsight, I didn't need it. So I feel a little bit not great about that, because I really thought that would fix it. It's only in 19 as well. I don't know why I'm not having that problem with anything else. Let's go courseplay on this one. I do. And it could be that. I've thought about that. So we want to go to course create, fertilizing and seeding. Fertilizing and seeding, we're going to go here. We want to go here. Wait, where is it now? So we're going to go here. Course generation. That's it. And this is field 27. 27 headland. Yeah. Let's go twice around. Start working on lengths. Do we have an island here? I don't think we do. Tools. Generate a course. Beautiful. Oh, that works. Starts right there. Okay. All right, so we will start at first waypoint. Deactivate. And field speed, we can slow this down. Turn these off. Here we go. And as these start getting lower, what I'll do is just put them on by. So we don't have to refill these. I want to try to get this crop out of the ground this episode so we can use some of that equipment. Fried, what's going on with Fright Sim? Fright Sim, man, I really hope there's nothing wrong with my brain. I am absolutely tripping over words lately. I do not like it. Fried, what's going on with Flight Sim? Maybe I can help. What's going on? And then the other little tractor we got, just as kind of a utility tractor. installation loop, and there's no fix. Oh, there's a fix for everything. For a little utility tractor, I got this little Kloss. We'll use it for a front loader as well. And I got, I don't know if you saw in there, that's what we teleported into to get down here quicker. I got a little Scorpion as well. And we did get all our bales put up. Oh, hey, there's the rest of our seed. I found it. All right, well, I guess we won't have to buy seed for a minute. I install updates and they keep resetting back to 0 before it can install. What folder are you going into? Does it have anything to do with that? Because it sounds like maybe it's putting it in, like it's checking in one folder looking for it, but then it's trying to install it to another folder. I'm feeling like that might be an issue with paths. All right, have you started over and gone back and uninstalled everything and then tried a different root folder? Tried putting it in a different install folder? Because I know, because it's coming from Microsoft servers, it will very often install to your default location, which is going to be under Windows menu settings, and I think it might even just be called default installation folder, default launch folder, and it's going to try to put it on C drive. So I've got 2 SSD drives. Well, I've got 3 SSD drives. My C drive is an M2 where my OS is. And then my D drive and my E drive are SSD just for games. So I have Steam folders, Steam libraries on both D and E. The first time I installed Flight Simulator, it put it on my C drive because it thought it was a Microsoft app. So, and you can't override that, because if you get the game through Steam, I don't know whether you got it through Steam or the Xbox store, but if you get it through Steam, even if you tell it to install on your D drive, it installs on your C drive. So what you have to do is temporarily go into Windows, see what we got here. Does this one, we want here. Okay, so all 3 of these fields can take fertilizer. Okay. So you have to go in and temporarily, how do we get in there? Temporarily reassign your Windows default installation folder from C drive to wherever your Steam folder is. It can't go in your Steam folder, but you have to put it on the same drive. And then when you install your updates, you have to make sure it's pointing to the same folder. I don't know if that's going to fix what's happening with you, but I know that was... It took me a minute to figure that out. Oh, man, I gotta do something about these weeds, too. This is terrible. All right, here we go. I'm so used to Seasons weeds, and these look so bad. They really do. They look so hokey. Tried multiple different install folders? Yeah. Now, are you sure it's going into that folder? Because like I said, if you... do you have it through Steam or the Xbox store? Because I can tell you, it doesn't matter what folder you select with Steam, it will go into... Like, you can, when you're installing it through Steam, you can say, I want it on my D drive, and it'll still put it in your install folder on C. A network limiter. I mean, if it works, it works. I can't imagine why that would work, though. I don't understand the mechanics of doing that, but if that's what it takes. And we are drifting all over the place here. It's nice to see what you sprayed in the minimap, though. Microsoft Store? Okay, that's slightly different then, because it's coming in just as a Microsoft app. This is really... I'll try to read chat. Add spray fertilizer. Yeah, if you have it through the Microsoft Store, through the Xbox Store, that's a little bit different because it's not sort of fighting with itself. Like if you have it through Steam, when you try to install it to a Steam folder, it ends up in your Microsoft folder. So you're, I'd say, one step ahead of the game that you don't have it through Steam. But as far as, you know, any steps from there, I don't know. It's been a really problematic rollout. That was, I think, last stream, maybe X-Plane stream, we were talking about the mistake that I made. I tried to verify the game, and because it comes from a Microsoft server instead of a Steam server, when you verify through Steam, it compares what's on your local to what's on the Steam server, and there's nothing on the Steam server. So when it verifies, it uninstalls the game, and it's a 150 gig game. People riot. People were not happy about that. I was not happy about that. And it's one of those things that you don't really need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to installing video games on a computer. There are plenty of very proven, very common ways of doing it. You don't need to do anything fancy. Just do it the way that everybody does it and the way that you know works. And for some reason, Microsoft and Asobo decided to do it a completely different way that was causing people's games to uninstall. And yeah, that kind of bandwidth. And you think about the writes on an SSD. That's the thing that was bothering me, is I had to install the game 3 times. That's close to 500 gig of writes on my SSD. And that's SSD is amazing, but it is a little bit fragile compared to a spinner. So yeah, it's been a problematic deployment. First few months of that game. And we're going to make it here 200, and yeah, we should make it to the end of here, and then we can just go get more. Oh, look at that, right up to the gate. We can go get more seed and have it delivered to the yard. All right, so before I forget, let me run over here and close this gate. Yeah. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, stuff like that drives me crazy. When you know you're not doing anything wrong, right? When you know that whatever the fault is, it's not something you're doing, that just triggers me. So we need to refill this thing, and I think we'll check progress after we get done with this next grass field and see how our 2 potato planters are doing. It's over here. We'll see how our 2 potato planters are doing, and I may spray this grass now. I may wait and do it later. It's not super critical that we get it done straight away. All right, we need to get back on the farm. I think if we go to this next intersection and take a left. Oh, here we go. There's a gate right there. I mean, this puts us back on the property, but we still need to, yeah, we still need to kind of cut through here. Oh, that's that automated Lely system. Yep. All right. So we get this open. The map is Chellington 19. And if we can ever get some of this housekeeping stuff out of the way, we're going to try out some of the new Grimme DLC. Wait, I did say Chellington, didn't I? I hope I did. That's what happens when I multitask. All right, so we'll come right up here and have some more of these delivered. What do we need? Seed? Fertilizer. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 of those. And what we don't use for these grass fields, we can use when we put the second layer of fert on the potatoes. Now, I haven't weeded in 19, so I don't know if weeding via precision farming, I don't know if that counts as fertilizer. Did it not used to count as fertilizer? That seems like something I can remember. But I don't know how it works in this new one. I don't know if weeding and fertilizer are completely separate now. And can we get through? I don't think we can get through there. So let's go down here and see if there's a way to cut across and get to that grass field. Down this way. You always turn weeds off? Yeah, I think with seasons turned off, I may turn them off as well. I think they look ridiculous. It's so hard to control these tractors. I think they look ridiculous where the entire field sprouts an even layer of weeds side to side overnight. That ain't cool. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I think in base game it's not super well executed. And there used to be... Oh, damn it. Now we're on the wrong side of the river. Yeah, I think we are going to do a series. I think we're going to keep the Western Shore as our sort of grindy series. Very realistic. This one I've added in a couple million pounds, and we're playing it a lot more casually. So yeah, I think we are going to do a series. Yep, there's a bridge here. Okay, so this will put us back on the other side of the river. Bad. This is a really well done map. Yeah, I don't know why the steering is so sensitive in 19. I have everything turned down as low as I can turn it, and it still seems really sensitive. Driving around town today, I went up to, I guess, the northernmost part of the map. And is this our entrance? Yep, here's our entrance right here. Went up to the northernmost part of the map, and there's tons of detail. I think when I first started playing 19, or 17, I guess. When I first started playing 17 seriously, I kind of like the idea of a map that was all farms, right? All fields. But I'm more and more coming around to the idea that the additional scenery, I think, really adds to the immersion. I've got a little weight on it. I've got the safety bumper with, I think, 900 kilos on it. But it's just, it's not the front wheels getting light. It's the, come on, little tractor. Ah! All right. Says no. It's not the front wheels getting light. It's the sensitivity of the steering. It just feels super overly responsive. Like I just barely move the thumbstick and it turns the front wheels 90 degrees. I've backed the sensitivity down. I messed with the speed sensitive steering in vehicle control add-on. I just can't seem to find the sweet spot for it. But there has to be some way to do it. Now, I thought vehicle control add-on really helped with keyboard steering. So it could be that I need to maybe turn off the speed sensitive steering. Right? That it's not helping. It's actually making things worse. I don't know. Man, that mini map showing what you've already sprayed, that is so helpful. Makes you wonder how we lived without it. Yeah, come on down. between the little motor and the Nokian tires, this thing just does not want to go at all. Oh, multitasking again. Oh god. Missed a big strip there. Bad sim farmer. You know, I sort of missed it when we hopped back on the Western Shore after I uninstalled after Purbeck. I realized I sort of missed it in Western Shore. And we do have seasons, which is definitely a nice thing to add in game, but it's without soil mod. I know we haven't had soil mod since 15, but I feel like precision farming is sort of, I don't know, it's sort of soil mod. It's contemporary. It's been brought up to date, but it's sort of the same idea of soil mod. And I've been looking on the mod hub. I haven't seen a lot of improvements or changes to precision farming. I haven't seen anybody that's like made a mod of the mod. And I did get Maize Plus installed. I still need to figure out what it does. I mean, I have sort of a broad understanding of what it does, but I need to really like dig into it and determine how it's going to like impact the game style. I haven't seen that, Mega, but I'm sort of used to it from Bullet Bill Maps. He typically sets his up that way, where you do have to muck out. And that can be, when you get 100 cows and you're pulling like 10 or 15 tons a day out, it can get to be problematic, you know, because you can't ignore it for a couple days. I think precision farming is good. I think it adds another layer to the game without it being completely over the top. We did a series on cattle and crops, and as much as I like it, it felt excessively grindy. It felt really, really grindy. Yeah, exactly. Just make the poo scraper system straight into the pit. So I like cattle and crops, and I think of it as an early access. I think of it as a proof of concept. As it becomes more fully developed, I think it'll be great. It's grindy right now, and I think some of the soil chemistry is a bit over the top. Does precision farming work with seasons? Yeah, as far as I know. Yeah, if I stay really, really slow, like 15 miles per hour, much easier to control. But anything over about 20, it just wants to like snap back and forth. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't know enough about the situation to really have any input. And I try not to fuel gossip. So I'll just keep quiet. Yeah, we used seasons and precision farming on Purbeck, and it didn't seem to have any problems. Mega, basically what it does is it adds another menu. In fact, we're already in it. It adds another menu right here. So if we zoom in a little bit, these are the fields that we own. So the new values that you have, well, you have to go out and scan the fields one at a time with this little probe. And what that does is tell you what kind of soil you have in the fields. And then based on the soil that you have, you'll apply fertilizer. Now, I'm using the auto feature. And what that does is, as you drive over the field with a lime spreader or a broadcast spreader or whatever, it automatically meters it and lays it down in just the right percentages. But you can do it manually if you want to. So this is lime, and then this is fertilizer. And you're trying to get, I believe, into the green, although there are some other complexities that I don't fully understand. But basically, I just let the automatic feature do it. And it's sort of, I don't know, it's sort of cheesy. It's sort of automatic, but it does add some additional steps. And it just, I don't know, it gives you the feeling that you're doing more. Now, cattle and crops, you really are like doing the calculations manually, and I wouldn't mind something that's sort of right in between those two. Cattle and crops does feel over the top a little, a lot maybe. And this does feel kind of, I don't know. From a certain angle, it can feel a little bit hokey, a little bit bolted on. You know, not quite serious. But yes, different crops require different levels. So I think it's well done, and I think it will continue to evolve. And then combining it with Maize Plus, which, like I said, I don't fully understand Maize Plus. I hear nothing but good things about it. Oh, and I owe you an apology. You told me about it like months ago. Okay, it needs to be refilled. So what we're going to do is go here. Here, seed. Come right down here. And I think that'll put it back to work. Okay, so if we take a look here now. It does. I think it works with all fert spreaders because it's like it changes the whole fertilizer idea. So I don't think you need to have a converted mod spreader to use it. I think it works with any spreader, but I could be wrong about that. Okay, so that one stopped and then didn't start going again. Either that or it just ran up against the edge of the thing. So fertilizer is good. pH is good. Oh no, I still need to... Okay, I still need to lime these two. Let's go deal with the John Deere first. Yeah, he just got to the end of his row here. Oh dear. All right, sir. Let's see how these look. And everything is on buy now. Okay, that's sort of what I was looking for. We don't have headlands, so the edges of the field are irregular, but to me that is more realistic than having those perpendicular rows. It may not be more realistic, but it looks more realistic. All right. So back this up right up here. And that is... That's 180 right there. Okay, let's see how this does. Blocked by an object. Sir. Blocked by an object. Interesting. Okay. Maybe we have to do this row manually. Nope. Just had to get them started. There they go. Yeah, Fried, what you're talking about right now, I haven't figured all that out. There's a lot of that stuff that's just a mystery to me at this point. Okay, somebody did graph it out. Oh, John Deere is just going. Okay. All right. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to stop. All right. All right, so hopefully this, once we get it going again in this sort of square area, it'll be able to sort itself out. And we did lease both of these, did we not? I think we did. There is 180. All right, there he goes. And you know what? I'm just going to plant these two fields with potatoes. We'll see how the JCB is doing. We don't need to plant that other arable field. Let's go ahead and get these fertilized and speed through the night. Hey, one other question. I don't know if anybody knows this. Where's the sleep trigger on this map? I would have not been able to find it. I had to go through one night, and I just did it by speeding time up and waiting. I don't know if anybody knows where the sleep trigger is, but I can't find it. That explains why I couldn't find it. Now I know. All right, let's see how long the JCB has left. What we'll need to do is hop in the John Deere and take it over to that other little corner piece. Yeah, I need to do that. When I was looking for the sleep trigger, nobody knew where it was, but people suggested to just get the one you carry with you. All right. JCB says I'm backing up. Can't stop me. All right. Let's go here. And we want these. There we are. And this thing is completely empty, so we'll have to hope that it sees a point here, sees a dot, and continues on its way. We want to start from current waypoint, next closest waypoint. Let's try that. There he goes. All right. So I don't think we'll have time to get any lime spread. Let's go see how the John Deere is doing, and I suspect that with that goofy angle at the end of those rows, that the JCB is going to get stuck plenty more. So let's just focus on getting these two fields done. Then we'll speed through the night. The JCB pack. Now you said that is that's going to be a paid DLC from a third-party developer as well. Did I hear that right? It's a free mod. Right on. I feel like JCB is always at home on a British style map, UK style map. And I saw people arguing on a thread. Imagine that, people arguing on the internet. I saw people arguing on a thread because apparently Farm Sim 2021 is coming out in November. Even though Giants has said, yeah, there's not going to be a Farm Sim 2021. We're not doing it. We're going to focus on DLC and focus on making the next version of the game significantly different. And here's people believing that the game is going to release a new version in 8 months, 9 months. But I guess the crux of the argument was, why would you want them to? Unless it's going to be different, why would you want them to release a new version? Unless you just want to give them $50. That is exactly how it's doing it. If you're asking seriously, there is an option to have it buy from the store like in real time. But I do that sometimes. I didn't feel like going all the way back to the yard to reset everything. We got to get these. The whole point of the stream is to check out the new equipment, and we're an hour in and we haven't even started looking at it yet. So I'm trying to get these done as quickly as possible. All right, so he's doing all right. Let's see how the JCB's doing. Never bought a DLC. I think the new model is, I'm okay with it. And the thing is, I went with the season pass, so it's sort of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it doesn't cost me anything because I already made the investment, so the DLC just kind of show up for me. But I know if I didn't have the season pass, I don't know that I would buy this. I would probably buy it just for the channel, but I'm not a fan of potatoes. Classic DLC? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can't get Modern Classics working in 17 on the MP server. Yeah, Owen, you're absolutely right. I was, when I was looking at that thumbnail that I created for today, they really have brought the game around. Very rough start, but they brought it around. And kudos to them for figuring out that the model they were working with was maybe no longer appropriate and they needed to come up with something new. I don't know, Fried. I have a feeling it's just internet gossip. But the thing is, I don't know why people are so hot to have a new farm sim. I think it's just, they just want it to want it. But I don't know what the point of having it would be. Oh, right on, Mega. You play MP on the same server? Yeah, Dolnus Laskowitz. That's a really good map. I think it's made by the same crew that makes PGR Brewsta. Yeah, between the potatoes on Dolnus Laskowitz and the potatoes on Lone Oak, I completely burned myself out on potatoes. I never want to harvest another potato. And I already felt that way about sugar beets. I harvested sugar beets on Coldborough Park, one of those great big fields out to the west side of the map, with that 3-meter Homer header that goes like 2 miles per hour. Oh. And yeah, this is going to be, we're going to have plenty of potatoes to work with, so I don't know that we need to get like every square meter of this field. Fact. Hang on, let's just hop in here. Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah. We don't need to worry about every little bit. I just want to get this done. And, yeah, I guess we should probably do this little corner here. No, you know what? We're not. Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. These aren't actual potatoes. These are demonstration potatoes. So I think now we're done with this, so we can just disappear it. Right? Come right up here. Get rid of that. Close your eyes. And we want this one. Let me make sure I return the right one. There we go. All right, so that's done. We'll take this back to the farm and park it up. And as soon as the JCB is done, we'll get that returned, park the JCB up, and then speed through the night and see what we can do with these potatoes. I don't know if they're... Well, we'll need to turn up crop growth speed. And we'll see if we can get weeds out of these today. If we do, we can go ahead and weed them with some of the new Grimme weeders. And see if we can get another layer of fert on them. JCB add-on later in the year. Right on. Yeah, his information I find to be mostly correct. And if he hasn't announced when the new Farm Sim title is going to drop, I don't think we can expect one for a couple of years. But again, I don't know why people are so hot to have a new title. I mean, I just saw MXGP, the one that I didn't buy. MXGP released December 16th. And it's already on sale for a third off with mixed reviews and terrible sales. So I feel like people are getting a little bit sick of the Madden model. I think for some titles, some franchises, it works fine. But for others, it's like, what am I giving you $60 every year for? What am I giving you $60 every 2 years for? To buy the same game with a different cover. So if we have to wait a couple years for an actual improvement in the franchise, I'd rather do that than, you know what I mean? feel sort of taken advantage of. It's not a good feeling. All right, we'll get this parked up. Oh, Silver's not going to do Farm Sim News anymore? That'll be weird. He was the source. All right, so we'll park that up. Uh-oh. Sir. All right, we're trapped in the wall. Sorry, trying to read the chat. Oh, right on. Yeah, I do think there's some people that they have they have issues in life. It's not so much that they have issues with gaming; they just have problems. And the way that those problems seem to get expressed is through their gaming habit. But Courseplay is really trying to sort this out. Sir? Really? After all that, we get this completely wonky row, really? Alright. So it goes. I'm going to let this thing go another couple of lengths, and then we'll stop this one as well. And if you know what, let's just stop it at the end of this row. I'm really wanting to get to this new equipment. So we'll stop this down here. And I think that'll be plenty of potatoes to work with. All right, so we'll get rid of that, get rid of that. That's turned off, so we'll drop that. Pull right up here. Return that. And to get out of this field, we go right over there. Okay. And I can do this before we do anything else. Let's do this. Let's go here. Plant growth. Fast. Okay. And we'll speed time up. You know what? The 1.5 meter planters that come with this DLC, I think to me that would feel just about like planting by hand. These big fields, it would take forever with a 1.5 meter. I think on a small farm those would be perfect, but on a big map like this, that's why I didn't use them. It would have just taken forever. So the quality on the weeder that we have down there now looks fine. No complaints about it. But I want to see what some of the other equipment, some of the more articulated equipment looks like. So we'll put the little weeder on the JCB. We'll lease the big weeder. See how that looks on the John Deere. All right, so right through here. Where did I leave it? It's right back here. All right, so there's that. And if we go here, back to the map, see if we're getting any growth up here. And weeds are right here. That stuff didn't grow yet, did it? I don't think it... Let me get turned around here. Where are we going? Where are we going? Oh, it's right over here. All right, let's slow time down again. Those are already growing. Mega, the DLC itself doesn't show up, but what you do get is if you go to placeables, you get these two buildings. And in fact, we need to place one on this map. Do that right now. You get these two buildings that are supposed to help with accuracy of your workers. I don't know if that's really a thing. And then the other thing is, where is it? It's under miscellaneous. This is the soil sampler taker that you need to use. And it's right over here. And that is this thing right here, the Scout. But the mod itself is, once you install it, it's up and running in the menu. You don't need to do anything else. Man, we could put one of these in right now. But I don't know where we'd put it. Let's see. If we go back to our farm, is there any space over there? Let me turn around here. Where is our farm? It's right over here. Is there a place where we could put this? Right over here. So right back here somewhere. Seem about right? There we go. All right, so there is that. So now we do have weeds. I think those are weeds, are they not? Yeah, because only these are potatoes and everything else is weeds. Okay. Workers do actually behave better. I mean, it would be fantastic if they did. I would like that. All right, so let's go ahead and lease the biggest Grimme weeder that comes with this DLC pack, and that is going to be here. Well, we'll confirm horsepower first, but it is, let me see, right here, 140 horsepower. So the one we have on the JCB is 75 horsepower. This one is 140. All right. I know, let's lease this. Yeah, there we go. And it says it can only be used during the initial growth stage. All right, that's where we're at. Removes weeds and improves the condition of the field by creating furrows. Sounds good to me. Here we go. And I think we could have used the smaller weeder on the Claas, and then this one that we're picking up now, we could have used that on the JCB, but we've got 3 tractors now and not a whole lot to do, so it's not like we need to really allocate our horsepower super carefully. We can just kind of do whatever. All right, and same thing, we'll take this up and get it started on a dumb worker and just let it make its way. We'll hop in the JCB, get that one going as well. Depending on how quickly this is going, then we can get in the Claas and get the next layer of fert applied. Yeah, those weeds. I really miss seasons. I'm not going to run seasons on this series, but I do miss the way seasons sorts out the weeds a little bit, so they're not quite so ridiculous. And I'm still still remembering where it's on the other side, right? We take the right and then go between the 2 barns. Yep. And we may, if we continue to do potatoes on this map, when I replant them, I'll do a better job. Be a little bit neater. We'll go all the way to the edges of the field, but mostly I just want to continue working through this equipment. So we're skipping some steps. All right. And, oh, you know what? Hang on. We've got crop destruction turned on. I don't want to drive directly across the center of the field, so I think if we go up here and take the right, drive through town, I think we can get to that other gate at the top of the field. Cause a little bit less carnage, I think. Right here. There we are. So let's hop out and take a look at this thing, because I really haven't done that yet. I mean, the modeling looks fine. Looks as good as any other base game or mod piece of equipment. I mean, it's plenty detailed. Dynamic hose, of course. Yeah, no complaints about this. And it was $5. So it's not like it's a super expensive DLC. All right, so we want to be on 180 degrees. And if we come right up here, and then tell it to get to work. There you go. That is definitely weeding. Okay. Jesus. Sir. You know, I gotta slow this down a little bit. I'm okay with getting done quicker, but I don't want the turns at the end of the field to be tore up. Although, right, we did just continue. We did just place that little building that comes with precision farming, so maybe that's why they're going faster. Unknown. All right, so into the JCB. We'll get started on that other weeder. And then get ready with the broadcast spreader. Get another layer of fert down. Okay. Oh, you know, yesterday I was saying I really wanted to wait, kind of hold off on getting any payware airports for X-Plane 11 because X-Plane 12 is due soon, and just kind of baby steps. I ended up getting Gatwick, Manchester, Leeds, Dublin, Belfast, Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Amsterdam today. So we'll see how those all work. The only one I've seen so far that I spawned into was Gatwick, and I mean, there is a difference. It's not night and day, but there is a difference. So there goes my plan to not spend a ton on X-Plane. Can we? Yeah, I think we can get to the end of this row right here. Hang on, there's another way to do this. If we back it in. If we back it in, I think we can get to the end of this row. Like so. All right. Drop that. And then if we go on Smart Worker, we want to be Smart Worker on lengths, making a right turn. I think that'll work. All right. That seems to be working. I'll take it. Go see how John Deere is doing. Sir? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's definitely hauling ass. Making significant... Oh, God! that AI making a turn frame rate. And that is some bottlenecking. Okay. So hopefully these two are done relatively quickly. Let's go hop in the... Hop in the class. Wow. You seeing that? That's the JCB calculating turns. Yeah. Owen, I feel the same way about a lot of features in this game. it's fun to do once, but it's like, what's the company? Gavil? That big blue, I don't know, device that dropped in the mod contest for 17 that would bail anything, right? Or the that crazy planter, that Italian planter that had all those moving parts. It's like, it's cool, but people end up never using it. It's fun to play with once. Or the Syntrack tractor. It's cool, but then it ends up not getting used. So yeah, boxing potatoes, I don't know, man. I just never ended up doing it. And I have to apologize for the frame rate. We've got 2 dumb workers right now. I'm sorry, 1 smart worker, 1 dumb worker. And when they make their turns, it absolutely bottlenecks the CPU. The HUDIG. What's the HUDIG? I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Oh, this is just ridiculous. I'm going to do this manually. I can't stand that slideshow. And also, it looks like for all the driving around down here, it's not really making any progress. Let's just do it manually. I think in the first growth stage, driving over the crop with regular tires does not destroy it. Backhoe tractor? Are you talking about the Syntrack? And it looks like, yeah, I think we are destroying crop. Man, this whole episode is not going the way I thought it was going to go. You know what? Check my style. Oh, the HUDIG is a backhoe tractor. Okay, I got you. Yeah, there's some very cool mods that I used once and never used again. Now, is there a creator tools for 19? Because I think in hindsight what I should have done is just creator tools these fields off camera so we started ready to go with potatoes. I mean, this has been fun. It's been different. I really never work with potatoes, and I'm glad we're getting to play with these weeders. But I think this is why I'm not into potatoes. They just seem, I don't know, a little slower to me. A little more tedious. And we haven't even gotten to harvest yet. And I did check, I didn't see the Ropa DLC available as a DLC for 19, but I took a look in base game and all the Ropa equipment is there. The same way all the horse equipment and all the Coon DLC equipment is in base game. Easy development screen. I would say I don't have that installed. It doesn't sound familiar to me at all. But again, we've sort of come off the rails here, so I think let's just focus on getting to harvest as quickly as possible, and we'll have to save realism for another day. We need a little bit more headland here, a little bit more room to work. I'm also noticing that this thing is only getting rid of the weeds that are in the rows. So the weeds that are growing out, like out past the edge of where the crop is, it's not affecting those at all. So I think it's the way that it's coded. It only removes weeds that are sort of in the potatoes, not in the field itself, if that makes sense. Not a big deal. Just figuring out how this thing works. And I don't know if you can use this on regular crops as well, or not regular crops, but crops that aren't potatoes. Unknown. And how's John Deere doing over there? Looks like pretty good. Making progress. And it looks like, if I saw correctly, it looks like the trailers you can use for any crop. But we'll confirm that when we look back in the menu. I'm going to make this turn here and instead of lifting. Probably wouldn't do this in real life. Snap the tines off. But if you can use those trailers for all crops, I think that's might not be realistic. I don't know if you would only use a potato trailer for potatoes or if you would ever use it for any other crops. But if they did code it that way, it's nice that if you want that trailer, you're not reluctant to get it or own it because you can only use one crop in it. All right, so now we got a little room to make turns. And we can start doing some lengths here. It seems like this thing is missing some of the weeds that it goes over. I'm not sure if I'm imagining that or if it's built that way. But I feel like it's not getting every single weed. All right, so we want to go here, right? We want to go here and then here. Beautiful. Yeah, Stingray, I hope they do some of that stuff. What do we want? Auto width. There we go. And we want guide steering on, show lines on, offset reversal, no offset. Go here, here. Zero. No, that's not what we want. 209, that's what we want. Set cardinal, set A, 209, 209. There we are. Oh, there is a hand weeder? Right on. Yeah, I'd like to see some more hand stuff in the game. I'd like to see, I mean, I know there's a strength mod, but I know in real life you can shove bales around a little bit on level ground. So if there was a way that you could shove bales, not pick them up and throw them like the strength mod, but just, you know, just move them. If you just needed to move one a little bit, that you could do that. And whoever's done here first, well, when the John Deere's done with that side of the field, I'm going to move it over to the other side of the field and let it get as far as it can. And then as soon as the John Deere's done or whoever's done first, I'm just going to call it and we'll let these fields grow with a little bit more weeds in them. But I do want to, as quickly as possible, get to harvest. All right. Drop that. It really is strange to me that in some sims I play like absolutely so slowly, every single detail, everything. I want it to be as slow and meticulous as possible. And then in other sims it's like, all right. I'm ready to be done with this. Let's just move on. Like in train sims, I would love it if TSW, and we'll see what this new one has. I don't think, oh, what is it, Rail Sim 2021? I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of in-cab detail as far as systems, but there are times when I want train sim to have more detail than it has now, right? That there would be more to do to operate the train. But then other sims, other games, it's like, yeah, I want less detail. Just want it to be quicker. So, and I suppose it's different for everybody. I think it's what makes it so important that some of these features can be turned on and off, because everybody really does game differently. Bought TSW2 but refunded it. I don't blame you. It is, I feel like that game is a little bit lost right now. Like, it doesn't quite know what it wants to be. Sort of like Flight Simulator 20, you know? It's not quite either. It's got the Project Cars 2 syndrome, where it's too realistic to be fun, but not realistic enough to be realistic. And the other thing is going to be, once we do start harvesting these potatoes, the other thing that's going to be, I mean, it's a good problem to have, but if we end up with like 1 billion liters of potatoes, oh, just hand pulling, like the way you pick up eggs in the game, just one at a time. All right, so there's that. Fried, I know a lot. I know a lot of train sims, and I feel like every one of them has a deal breaker for me. So the Train Simulator franchise has the most detail as far as systems go, and it's certainly got the most DLC. Train Sim World, I think, looks the best. Even though it doesn't look great, it looks the best of all of them. But it's, I don't know. The trains aren't that detailed as far as systems. They're just more detailed. I'm sorry, reverse that. The trains look better, but they're less detailed than the Train Simulator franchise. And then there's another one called Zusi, which is an actual training tool for train operators. Doesn't look good at all, and it is like the maximum level of systems in the trains. It accurately recreates how you operate a train, but it's super, super dry. It is not a game at all. It is 100% like a training simulator for train operators. So it's like all three of them have some good things about them, but for me, all three of them have a deal breaker. I've sort of fallen away from Train Sim World since I've been in Flight Sim. I would really like to see TSW that you would have the same option as far as like going through and manually doing all the things that you need to do to operate the train. I feel like it's Train Sim World has kind of a dumbed down yes or no system. Like, you don't really get any information and you don't really have any control over the trains, but if you forget to do something, then it all goes to pieces on you. But you don't really have a way to prevent it. I don't know. I guess I would like to see the trains be as complex as the aircraft in X-Plane, or even in Flight Sim. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they can code that. And as it stands right now, there are systems, but it's like they're kind of indifferently applied. They're just sort of random. So some parts of operating the train are very detailed, and other parts it's like just kind of a hand wave. But I don't know. It doesn't really, I don't really feel like I'm doing anything in TSW2. Yeah, I hear you, Fried. I'm looking for a bus simulator. I definitely am. All right, so we're going to turn this off for a minute. Go get the John Deere going again. And we'll just, I don't know if it made it all the way to the fence. We'll just set it on the other half of the field. This half right here. And then as soon as it's done, we'll call it, regardless of where we are with the JCB. But it looks like, yeah, I mean, it looks like this is all weeded. So we'll get another layer of fert on here, speed up time again. And these, I believe, will be ready to harvest tomorrow morning in-game. I hope. All right. And from what I've seen so far of this DLC, not disappointed at all. I think $5 is just about right. I think if it were like a $20 DLC, people might feel a little bit disappointed. But if I paid $5 for this, I think I'd be okay with it. All right, so we want 180 degrees. There's 180 right there. And then we want smart worker. We want to turn the other way. Okay. I've heard that, Stingray. I've heard that as well. I guess the source of the rumor is that in some of the new cities, for some of the new DLC, there are bus stations. And people have just kind of done the math and said, well, you know, it really wouldn't be hard, since they work with all these companies anyway, to license a bus made by Scania or a bus made by Mercedes. And rather than going to a depot and picking up a cargo, you go to a bus station, pick up passengers, and then take them to another city. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. It seems like something they could do fairly easily. And even the view is going to be just about identical, except instead of looking over your shoulder at a sleeper cab or a bunk or a window, you'd be looking over your shoulder at a bus full of passengers. So I think they could do it, but I don't know if they will do it, right? I don't know if that's a real thing or if it's just a rumor, but it certainly seems like they could do it. And I'd buy it. I'd buy it as a new title. If they released it as a DLC, fantastic. But if they released it as a standalone title, I would buy it. No problem. And I think that would be... Now, that's inner city buses. That's not like a bus route in a town. But that's sort of what I'm looking for. Man, if I could get Fernbus working, I think I'd be happy. But it just... I get continuous crashes. Continuous Unreal crashes. Sir, where are you going? Oh... I'm an idiot. It wasn't on Smart Worker. It was just on me. It was just on guidance steering. That's why they weren't stopping. All right. Pilot error. Here we go. I was watching Flight Deck to Sim yesterday, and typically he takes off about an hour after the stream starts. So I feel a little bit bad that we've been going over 90 minutes and we really haven't done a whole lot with potatoes yet, or at least with the new DLC, but you know what? It's the way it works out sometimes. You can get information about mods on ETS2. Fernbus isn't worth it. I don't know. I've never been able to play it. I've never got it working. I mean, it seems like on paper it's what I'm looking for, but I never got it working. All right, so we'll drop that. The Bus Simulator 18, it looks good, and I think the 21 version of it will be even better. I mean, you would think that it would be. You hope that it would be. But I'm curious what that looks like. I mean, the thing that I don't like about OMSI is the passengers, but I get it. I understand like why that has to be a part of a bus route simulator, because without the passengers, what would you do? Right? You just drive around. So I get it. But I think the way that they're implemented, and complaining about the heat and picking up trash, that sort of I don't know. I don't like that aspect of Bus Simulator, but I recognize that it needs to be a part of any bus simulator, because without it, then what do? You just drive around, and the passengers sort of load themselves automatically. But I think that's why I like the idea that in Fernbus, you just load everybody up once, you put their bags underneath, you close all the doors, and then off you go. All right, if I could get it working, I don't know. I'm starting to think about new systems, and if I can get Fernbus working on my new system, I mean, I want to try it. I really do. I just can't keep it running. Whoa. Easy, player. Now, I did see that Fernbus has been out for like 3 years, 4 years, and I guess they really haven't bothered to optimize the game since they released it. It's more or less in the same state as when it was released. They've added some DLC. So I don't know if it's going to get any better. As far as, Unreal errors, I don't know if that's something they're even working on, or if it's just going to be as is. That's what you get. Oh, okay. I've seen the buses. I haven't seen the bus stations, and I didn't know if there was a way that a mod could add passengers as a cargo in ETS2, but I mean, it seems like if you combined the bus mods, right, the actual vehicle mods, and then somebody came up with a way to have a cargo pickup point in one of the bus stations, there would be a way to make that work. Yeah, I mean, if you've got it working, let me know, man, because I would definitely like to try that. And point me at a good bus mod too, because I've tried a couple of them and they seem to be really not good quality. I was disappointed with the quality of those. Now, in fairness, I think we're sort of spoiled. Things like the Viper 389 and the RJL Scania, I think we've got pretty high expectations of what vehicle mods will be. But the ones that I tried, everything was in Turkish, and it was, I don't know, low res. Big polys. It's a little disappointing. How's John Deere doing? Almost done. Beautiful. And when we're done here, I checked yesterday, or earlier this morning, I guess, in-game, and we had not put down any fertilizer. And I was curious earlier, because I know it used to be that when you weeded in 17, that counted as a fertilizer layer, but I think now we have actual weeds. So I don't know if weeding counts as fertilizer. I mean, I know in real life it wouldn't, but I don't know if they count it just as the part of the 30% buff. So we'll take a look when we're done here. I'm thinking with Precision Farming DLC, there'd be no way that you could have that happen and have the game still be immersive, right? There's no way that you're weeding and it's going to like alter the nitrogen in the soil. That doesn't make any sense. So we'll take a look when we're done here, but I imagine these still need to be fertilized. And for that, we'll bring the class up as quickly as possible. All right, it says John Deere is done. Let's go see how done they are. Over here. Hup. You know what? I'm going to say that's done enough. So let's hop in here. Fold that. Back this up. And, we can turn this off now because the JCB is done as well. So we'll turn this off now. Turn that off. So you do get a buff, but it's not a lot. Let's take a look here. So if we look at... So we want nitrogen. Yep, no change that I see. So we'll hit these with the broadcast spreader one more time. And that makes sense. If there is a buff, it's not a fertilizer buff, because that wouldn't make sense in real life. So fair enough. All right. So now we're going to drop this right here. Like so. We're going to return this. Take this back to the farm. Then we'll bring the JCB down. Speed through time probably till tomorrow morning. And start harvesting these. Oh no, I'm sorry. We got one more step. We need to hit them with a little bit of fertilizer. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Fried. It's It's not a buff, it's a reduced hit that you take. But yeah, same thing. You get more if you do it than you do if you don't do it. All right, right down here. All right. So if I was seeing those harvesters correctly, there's one harvester that goes on the front of a tractor like the rooster. Or, I'm sorry, the rooster goes on the back, but there's a front-mounted topper. We'll take a look. Let's get the tractors put up first. Get the fertilizer applied, and then we'll sort out how we're going to harvest tomorrow. Man, that is a bumpy little track. All right, so that is done. We're going to lift this. All right, Fred. We're going to... I know we own this, but I'm going to sell it. I don't think we need it anymore. There we go. Let's get turned around here. Oh, and are those part of... Hang on. Take a look here. I saw those. I thought those were part of the Maize Plus. Because this is all Grimme pack here. It says down at the bottom Grimme pack, but then as soon as we get into these, it just says mod. I thought these were for Maize Plus. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know. I just... Because they didn't say they were part of the Grimme DLC, I didn't know if they were part of it. Through here, and then right down this incredibly bumpy track. All right on. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I don't think the Grimme DLC adds any crops. So as far as carrots and onions, I thought that was coming from Maize Plus, but I very often have no idea what I'm talking about, so. Oh, Stingray, you weren't able to get the buses working? Yeah. I didn't have good luck with them either. I mean, they worked, but I just really... They seemed like really dodgy mods. We want... You know what? Let's see what's in here first. And then we'll get enough just to top it off. So back this up carefully. There's 1,200 in there. It holds 3,200. So I think if we get 2, we're going to have just a little tiny bit left in one, but... So it goes. This is our fun account. We don't need to worry about being super realistic. All right. Oh, no worries, Owen. And I do, I mean, you told me about Maize Plus, and I thought it was, oh, fantastic. It'll fit in there. Perfect. You told me about Maize Plus a while ago, a month or so ago, maybe a little longer, and I really thought it was just maize, and I don't typically grow corn, so I didn't really have any interest in it, but Turns out there's a lot more to it than that, so I should have taken your advice and checked it out, because it seems like it really brings a lot to the game. It's almost like Seasons Light. All right, so we'll knock these out right quick, and then it's already 12:30, so we'll speed up time again, and I imagine these crops will come up. Whoa, so sensitive. I imagine these crops will come up probably overnight. If they're not ready this afternoon, they'll be ready first thing tomorrow. And we will begin harvesting once we figure out what Grimme kit we need. All right, and again, I know this is not... Sir? All right. So we need to stop right here. Not going to let us apply fertilizer until these grow a little bit, so let's get these so we can see them clearly. Speed up time. Massive difference. New crops that are done to a very good standard, not like previous. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the add-on crops are... It's a quick edit to an XML file and then a really lazy texture. So it's nice to see like quality crops being brought in a way that it feels like they're actually adding something to the game, and not just adding something for the sake of adding something, but adding something that is actually going to be part of the game the way that we play it. So as soon as these grow again, as soon as these move again, and we're going to hop back in, we'll slow time down, hop back in the class, and see if they'll take fertilizer then. Yeah, agreed. I think a lot of them are just, well, like I said, they're just a quick edit to the XML file. Somebody just cut and pasted a line and gave it a new name. But I think the way that this is really going to work for us as sim farmers is when the crops that people are adding that you need to sort of evaluate, like, what do I want to grow? What's it going to cost me to grow it? How much effort is going to be involved in growing it? What kind of equipment do I need to grow it? And with the basic crops, whoa, hang on, slow that down. With the basic crops that are in base game, you got, what, 2 cereals that make straw. You've got 2 oil seed, is that right? And you've got 2 root crop. I think I may be a little bit, not quite 100%, but you know what I'm getting at. Once again, not taking any fertilizer. Okay, well, stop right here, and we'll let these grow a little bit more. Here we go. Yeah, I agree with that as well. It just, I don't know, a lot of the add-on crops just felt really kind of tacked on. It didn't feel deliberate at all. It didn't feel, it just didn't have any purpose to it. It was like a new crop for the sake of having a new crop, but they were no different than the old ones. All right, so our weeds just grew. No, I was going to slow time down and see if this would take fertilizer now. Like maybe it just needed to process through. Yeah, let's do that. You know what I mean? That it can sometimes take longer than a few seconds for everything to kind of cycle. Let's, oh, there it is. Couldn't find my tractor. I guess it doesn't much matter. We don't need to get fertilizer on here, but I'd really like to. Anything over here? All right, still nothing. Hey, Fried. Stingray, I'm hoping that's the sort of stuff that's part of the next iteration of Farm Sim, whether it's 2021 or 2025 or whenever it is. There are so many things that need to be brought into the game And I don't know if they will. If they're focusing on the console crowd, I don't know if they will bring those things in, but irrigation, I think, is the main thing for me. That rain matters, and you have a long-term forecast, and you can, if it's going to be a dry year, you want to plant crops that are more resistant to drought. Even if they make you less money, it's still going to be more money than if you plant a crop that needs a lot of water when you're not expecting a wet year. And that you can lay in pipe and irrigate, but it's going to cost you money. But that might be what's required to save the crop and save your season. So I think that's something that I would love to see in the game. I would love to see terrain deformation. I would love to see a more active economy with repairs and depreciation and breakdowns, and the ability to buy bulk fuel early in the season for a better price. I think there's a ton of stuff they could bring in that doesn't, some of it doesn't seem on the surface like it would be that difficult to code. I could be wrong, and under the hood, it's incredibly difficult to code. But a lot of it, I think, could be added. I just don't know if they have the resources to bring it in, and I don't know if their audience cares. If people really aren't into that, I don't know that it's ever going to be a priority for them. But yeah, I think they could definitely, they could destroy cattle and crops by, and at the moment, if you're wondering, there is no sleep trigger on the map. So we are going to just speed time through the night. Unfortunately, there's no other way to do it. Yeah, Fred, I agree with that. I think they know. There we go. That's what I was waiting for now. We're going to do this at night, which is not ideal. Oh, there's that glare. Oh, my retinas. I could do without that. All right. So, and you know what? We can even check it over here. No. Absolutely not taking any more fertilizer. Now, is that unique to potatoes? Is that unique to potatoes, or does precision farming really insist that you get one layer of fert in before you begin prepping your field? Oh, no worries, Ernie. Okay, so these are not going to take any more fert, which is fine. That means we could take this thing back to the farm, park it up, and I'll go ahead and speed time up again because we don't have anything else to do today. So we'll speed time up, and by tomorrow morning, I believe these will be ready to top, and we can continue with this process. This game does look good at night. It really, really does. I got to give him credit for that. I think it looks a lot better than 17 at night. The way the lights are used in the models, in the tractors, I think is just absolutely so different than 17. I almost said night and day. Do you hear that? Yeah. But I think, yeah, the night lighting and the vehicle lighting looks really, really good at night. I think it looks super authentic. I mean, the game has come around. I was really down on it when it dropped. And a year ago when I moved back to 17, I was really down on it. But credit where credit is due. I think they've really made massive improvements in the game. How much nitrogen? Oh, 5, 30, I don't know. I got some on there. I'll take a look. I don't even know. All right. So we'll turn that off. Come out here. Time is still speeding. It's almost midnight. I'm going to turn this on so you can see something. We'll take a look at this. There he goes. Checking the spreadsheets. It's looking like some parts of it, I think, are maxed out. So like over on field 28, looks like we're up around 200 kilograms per hectare. And then, yeah, I mean, it's pretty high on all of them. So it could be that it just can't take any more. But I don't know how we got it on there in one layer. And then this is our pH. We still need to do these two fields down here, 34 and 36. But everything else we got kind of right in the middle. So I think that's where it needs to be. That's good enough for potatoes? Right on. Now, okay, so you find that out by, where is it? Is this when we click on the whole area? Yes, yes. So this is when we get some of this other information, but you're talking about being able to see crop per crop. I haven't found that menu yet. So I think it does have to be a spreadsheet. And depending on the soil, from 100 to 160 kilograms per hectare. Okay. So is that information that you can pull out of the game at any point, or does that have to come from... Oh God, that's not looking good. That's not looking good at all. I would prefer that this not be the lowest possible yield. Oh, game. Okay, so it has to be, you have to calculate it out manually. There's no way to extract that from the game. We'll go here. Let's go to Grimme. Let's see about these harvesters. All right, so this is, it looks like this goes on the back, okay? And all it does is pull them out of the ground and then leave them in a row. So what's the difference between this one and this one? It says it goes with the Agco 650. What's the Agco 650? Agco 650. Oh, it's a front. It's a front weight. All right, never mind. Agco 650. Okay, so you know what? Let's go with this one. Oh, this is 1.5 meter as well. Good grief. Ah, okay, but it says we do need a topper. So that's the, let me see here. Is it, no, it's not quite daylight yet. 5:30. Okay, so if we go, so this is the topper. And then this is the actual harvester. These are all 1.5 meter. But this does not need, okay, so let's do this. Let's put the topper. All right. I mean, I really don't see the difference between these two. 4 horsepower? There's got to be some other difference, but I can't see it. All right. So let's get the topper. So we'll lease that. We'll lease this, right? This one. Ah, left swath, right swath. Aha. Okay, that's the difference. Well, I'm not really stressed about that. Left swath, right swath. Can you switch it once you get rolling? Oh, right on. Thanks, Fried. I appreciate that. Can you switch the swath side once you get rolling? Yeah, let's go with this one instead. Okay, so we'll lease this. And then we'll lease this thing as well. And then this is the, I guess, the forager. This is the thing that picks them up. Okay. All right. Oh, shit. Hang on. I'm so timed down. Turn that off. Hop in the JCB and go get started. So this is the topper. Yep. I really got to clean my yard up. I do like that it seems like all of this kit makes rows. None of it, there's no like fully, I can straighten that out a little bit. There's no fully like self-contained potato harvesting apparatus. So if that's the way it's done in real life, if you typically do get the potatoes into a row and then go pick them up later, It seems like that's sort of the methodology behind this whole DLC. Yeah, I think the models are solid. They look as good as anything base game, which would be, I mean, I would expect that if Giants is going to sell it through their store as payware, I would expect that the models would be solid, but everything seems to be well done. No complaints. And we may be able to put this on a dumb worker. If we can, then we'll go hop in the... Go hop in the John Deere. Man, we don't... I hope these crops haven't withered. If they have, oh, I will be very, very sad. Potatoes can't wither, can they? Not that quickly. Oh, game. Don't do this to me. Remove tops. Whew. All right. I was very concerned. All right, so we want to... Do we have to unfold this? Nope. So we can turn this on. We can lower this thing in the back. Do we unfold this? Nope. Turn that on and lower. All right, here we go. Well, it says, correct me if I'm wrong here, it says, on these two right here, it says, please remember that you need a home cutter before you can use this machine. It says that on both of these, but I don't see our cutter doing anything. I mean, it seems to be working, but I don't see... I got you, Ernie. I was very concerned. I was reasonably confident that potatoes don't wither, and they don't wither that quickly, but just thinking after all that work that our fields were completely dead. Oh, sigh. But we did all right. So we do have the cutter up front, and the cutter is... Hang on. If we go here, if we look under potato specific... Ah, that's the difference. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try to be fair. Let's try to be accurate. So we'll lift this, turn it off. We'll back up a little bit. Turn that off. Drop that, right? I know some equipment you can use. Drop that. I know some equipment you can use for sugar beets or potatoes, and some is specific to each one, and I would guess that is specific to each one. So if we use the correct home cutter, which is here, if we use the correct one, let's see if this works any better. Because there's one that only fits on the great big self-propelled potato harvester. But it's not this one. Okay. That's what we needed to do. Just get the right piece of kit and we'll be okay. And we do not have much of a potato yield. I don't know if you could see that. Really not a whole lot on the ground. Here we go. Yep. Once you use the right kit, it seems to work better. And are we getting... No, we're not getting much more of a row. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Fried. I don't know if it reduces the yield or if it's just strictly a cosmetic thing. And I'm going to make this turn. I know you wouldn't do this in real life, but this ain't real life. It's just a game. But we gotta make some progress here. We got a lot more equipment to try out. So it could be that if you don't take the tops, maybe it reduces the yield. Unknown. But we'll go ahead and try to take these as much as we can. And once we have a little bit of room to work, because this is a pretty big rig to turn around at the end of the row, so once we have a little bit of room to work, we'll put this on a dumb worker. Try to. hop in the John Deere, bring that up to test it out in the other field. And once we have all these potatoes in, then we'll go grab that rake apparatus. And then the last thing we'll test, I guess, if we want to, is the palletizer, the boxer. But from what I understand, in the chat earlier, people were saying not worth the effort. So we'll test it out. We'll do our due diligence and try to give a nice, thorough representation of the DLC, but it sounds like it's not worth it. I know the palletizer that comes with base game, I always found it to be not worth the effort. All right, there's the front. Lift the back. Get this turned around. I mean, it's different. I have to admit it's different. And I really don't do a lot of potatoes, so I'm enjoying the novelty of it. And even with the plowing and fertilizer and weeding and lime and everything else, it looks like our yield is about 50%. Potato washer. Yeah, you can use it to make pig forage. Is that what it's for? I seem to recall using that in probably all the way back in 15. Oh, you can sell them for more money when they're washed? Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I had a bad experience with Global Company. Yeah, I don't... I stay away from Global Company. So I'm going to get down here to the end of this row, and then I'm going to pause for a minute. Let's go get the Claas. If the Claas can pull that forager, I don't know what else to call it, the potato forager. If the Claas can pull that with the horsepower that it's got, let's come up here and get this row picked up, because I imagine in real life you would probably not want to be... You can drive over a straw swath, but I'm thinking you probably don't want to drive over a pile of potatoes. That's just going to be no good for anybody. Sorted potatoes and pig feed. Oh, okay, so it's meant that the good potatoes get sold at market, and then the bad potatoes you use for hog food. All right. So this is, if we take a look here, this thing is 130 horsepower. And if we go here, this thing is 90 horsepower. Beautiful. All right. Configuration, standard cover. Oh, look, it's got a little hat. You can put a little hat on it. I want it with the hat. There we go. Before I do that, our delivery point is out in that field. So let's put that there. Two separate mods, but they work together. Right on. Yeah, I didn't have good luck with Global Company. Or maybe I was just playing it wrong. You know, I didn't have the right mindset or something. But wow, that thing is massive. I didn't have good luck with it. That was another contributing factor to me stepping away from 19 last year when the Western Shore dropped, was how things went with how things went with Global Company. And when we unfold this thing, I'm curious if it kicks out to the side the same way the Ropa does. And you know, as slow as that other harvester is, because they're all 1.5 meters. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah, we'll take a look. I think they're all 1.5 meter in this Grimme DLC, so even if we switch to the other one that doesn't require a topper, it's still going to be 1.5 meters, so we'll see how quickly this thing is filling up. Maybe lease one of the trailers and bring it up and unload it into the trailer. Yeah, the way that I had Global Company set up, the mistake that I made was every time a factory told me I needed something, I was like, all right. And then I'd build another factory. I didn't put a cap on it. And so I just ended up constantly driving around the map trying to feed my factories. As one does. All right, let's unfold this thing. Beautiful. Lovely. Oh, that steering axle. Got a steering axle back there? I thought I saw one. All right, so we turn this on. Lower it. And let's pick up some potatoes. And how quickly is this thing filling up? I mean, oh, that's nice. You can see some belts moving down there. Beautiful. Are we? No. Okay, we're picking up. I guess it takes a minute for everything to cycle through, because it looks like the belt that dumps up into the, I guess the hopper. Yeah, there it goes again. Okay. It's almost like it fills another chamber somewhere in the harvester, and then it dumps them all at once. I don't know if I'm seeing that properly. I mean, come on, little Klaus. Come on. You got this. Moment. We need better start gear. Here we go. Let's try that. A little bit underpowered for this thing. I think we'll be okay once we get to the top of the hill, but we're struggling right now. Yeah, I've played some maps where there's some industry and it just works well for me. I think all of a sudden our camera's freaking out. It's been behaving itself and now it's going nuts. Hofbergman, I think had, God, really? 3 times now. I think Hofbergman had a really good implementation of industry and some various things that were, I don't know, fun to do other than straight farming. But if it gets to be any more than that, I find it gets really tedious really fast. And it seems more like a work simulator than a farm simulator. So there's a kind of a specific cutoff for me. And anything beyond that is just, yeah, no thanks. All right, so this thing loads up really, really quickly. We're already up almost at 6,000 liters, but all of this kit, I have to say, seems pretty, not small, but definitely not industrial like the Homer kit. And in that way, it makes perfect sense because we've already got the big industrial stuff. We've got the Homer and the Ropa. So maybe some smaller stuff is exactly appropriate, right? Because we've already got the other. All right, I'll take it. So we come right down here. And if we can be at 100% when we get back by the gate, that'll be perfect. Yeah, that's true, Fried. That's true. You get like the crop counter and you can see what's in your buildings and your warehouses and stuff. Yeah, that's a very good point. You're right. All right, so if we pull this right up here, I know we're sort of driving over some potatoes. I'm trying to get it a little bit to the right. So if we go pipe out, right? Leave that right there. We're going to hop in the John Deere, and we're going to lease one of these trailers. I guess we'll lease the big one because this tractor certainly has the horsepower for it. All right. Don't think we need wide tires. Ah, okay. Put a little hat on that. Oh, that is... that's a bold statement. All right. Field leasing? Yeah, so it does have some of the features of, what was it, Bank of Hagenstadt? Oh, and I forgot to look. I said I wanted to check this, and then I completely forgot to. You can put anything in these, right? Yep, looks like they will take every crop. So if you like this trailer, if you like the look of it, if it's the only trailer that you want to run, it will take, looks like every crop and fill in the game. All right. And I didn't even see what the capacity on this was, but let's go, yeah, exactly. It's a circus tent. It's something. Let's go fill this, or at least see what it'll take to fill it. And I would say, how do we want to do this? Let's work that field until we can fill this trailer. And then we'll bring it back to the farm. We'll get the palletizer. I think we need to get the belt and the palletizer. I'll find out momentarily. I don't think you can dump this directly into the palletizer. I think you need the belt to get it up to the, like the receiver. But we'll focus on getting this full first, then we'll go back to the yard. Bring the pallet system in and the belt system in. Get those two pieces of kit working, and then we'll call it. Carefully. Yeah, I mean, it all looks good. It plays well. No discernible impact on frame rate that I can notice in any way. And it's $5. I mean, I would say, even for somebody who doesn't like potatoes, I would say this is a great DLC. The detail is there. The quality is there. And it's super, super affordable. This thing, though. Steering axle or nah. This is kind of fighting me. All right, here we go. Carefully. All right, there you have it. So it looks like 20%. Okay. You know, I don't know if we'll fill that thing 4 more times. That's a little over the top, maybe. But let's see if we can fill it at least twice more. So I think now, if we do... If we just do the sides of this, because I can't really turn this thing in the space that we have. But maybe if we just do the sides, kind of deadhead around and just focus on the sides. Whoa. There's one headland, a little bit less than one headland, filled that harvester. So let's try to fill it 2 more times. So I would say, so if a headland is 1, 2, 3, 4, then if we go, math. All right, let's see if we can do this. I mean, maybe a little dip in FPS when the animation starts for that belt. But not terrible. And we are looking toward a pretty detailed part of the map. Yeah, we can check it this way. Yeah, if we pivot around, we get those FPS back. So I think it has more to do with where we're looking, where the camera's pointed, than with any part of the DLC. Can I run X-Plane or FS2020 on a GTX 1650 and i3 9100 8 gig of RAM? I would say of the two, X-Plane, you're probably going to do a lot better. I couldn't guarantee either of them, but Flight Simulator is, FS20 is kind of a resource pig. But X-Plane, yeah, I think you could probably do okay. Yeah, I'm fried. I'm kind of thinking the same way. More the processor than the graphics card. I think your graphics card, if you dial things back, you might be able to sneak in there. But an i3, that could be kind of rough. I mean, you can take a look. That's just one person's opinion. Take a look, see if there's anything on Reddit as far as like minimum CPU. But of the two, I think you do a lot better with X-Plane than Flight Sim. And X-Plane does come with general aviation aircraft. I mean, I like it because it's got the study grade jets, and that's what I'm into right now. But it comes with a 172 Skyhawk. It comes with a Baron 58 and a King Air. So if you just want to fly around GA, there are aircraft in there for that as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm on a 1660 Ti and an i7-9900, and when I let it auto-select, it set everything on very high, and I was 50 or 60 FPS in the air, and 40 FPS at most airports, but like 25 at JFK and Heathrow. I thought it looked fine if I bumped a couple things down, and I did pick up a few FPS, but the game looks so good. FS20 looks so good. It's like even on low settings or lower settings, it still looks amazing. So I didn't really feel like I was missing anything. But I ended up running on, I just went with that auto-selected very high that they gave me, and then I backed a couple things down a little bit. All right, and then like so. I feel like that class, we didn't park it that way. I feel like it just gradually kind of crept that way. I don't know what's going on there. And we're not running any physics or realism mods at all. I turned all those off for this save game. I don't know what's going on. Whatever's happening, it's base game that's doing it. All right. So that is, I want to try to do 4 or 5 rows per side, and I think that may be enough to fill that thing twice more. Carefully. Yeah, that's when people talk about Farm Sim 17 or Farm Sim 19 physics, it's like, wait a minute. You're saying there's physics? So it's pretty basic. It really is. It's for a game that has a lot of self-propelled vehicles in it, the physics seems really, I don't know, not super well thought out sometimes. As far as I know, I mean, the only thing that I'm running is vehicle control add-on. I don't think that does a lot with physics. I think it messes with the power a little bit, but I don't think it messes with the grip at all. Am I going to stream tomorrow, Svetoslav? I am. I'm going to stream either Kerbal or Western Shore. I haven't quite decided yet. We got to the moon, we got back. We need to get back to Earth. Well, we got back to orbit. We didn't get back like onto the surface of the Earth. So we need to complete that trip, and then I would like to try the same trip in a rocket that I built, because we're using the Saturn V right now. So could be Kerbal, could be Western Shore. a possibility, remote possibility, we could hop in X-Plane again. I really like streaming X-Plane, but I know it's not your favorite, so I'm sort of splitting the difference there. I don't want to give you content you don't want, but I do want to, you know what I'm saying? I do want to stream things that I like playing, so it could be X-Plane, and I did get all those new airports. So we could fly from, you know, a new scenery to a new scenery in a new plane, maybe. That sounds like a bribe, doesn't it? Sounds like I'm trying to talk you into it. All right, so we'll lift that. We'll lift that. Hang on. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've played it since the stream, which would mean they're still floating up there. So what we could do, yeah, I mean, if you want, what we could do is start with a rescue, right? Get everybody back to Earth that way, and then launch another Saturn V to the moon, and then come back and land it properly, and then try mine. Yeah, we could do that. All right, and I think when we get, we'll finish this row, we'll do one more row on the other side, and I think that will be enough to fill that thing twice. Yeah, that's a great idea, Fried. That's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's build a rescue rocket. We'll go get everybody back to Earth, and then we will take the Saturn V back to the moon, come back, land it properly, and then do it again in the one that we built. Okay. You got it. We'll do some Kerbal tomorrow. Space rescue madness. I do like Kerbal. It's very hypnotic. And it's sort of similar to X-Plane, that if something goes wrong, it's very often impossible to start where you were. And the only place to restart is at the very beginning. And that is, I don't know, man. It certainly makes you pay attention if you know your mistakes are going to be that punishing, right? That you're going to have to start the process all over again like an hour in the past. You can't just do a quick save to 10 minutes ago. All right, so drop this. I said we'll drop this right there. And then we'll drop this right here. Here we go. SpaceX Transporter 1 mission. Are you talking about in real life or in Kerbal? I'm sort of following SpaceX. I mean, it's amazing to see private spaceflight like becoming a thing in my lifetime. That is amazing. But I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of Elon Musk. Real life, yeah, I heard about it, but I didn't see it. I also heard about Conor McGregor getting his ass beat. I haven't seen that either. And I heard about those things from the same person, so I got to follow up on both those. All right. So let's turn these off. Get this over here out of the way a little bit. Hop in the Claas. Yeah, this will work out because we were running out of horsepower in the Claas. We were running out of horsepower at the bottom of that hill. But if we have everything turned off and we're not losing any PTO power, and we can get up to this flat part, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, I think what Elon Musk is doing is amazing. I know he's not doing all the engineering himself, but he is running the company. And the ideas that they have, the way that they're going about these projects, I think is really bold. It's really innovative. So we can bring this in. And it seems like they're having pretty good luck. I don't know if they're ever going to make money. I feel sometimes like the car company is financing the space company. I mean, I know the U.S. government, various other governments are paying them big money for these heavy lift missions, but I don't know if they're making money or just breaking even, and the car company is going to subsidize the space company. It doesn't matter to me either way. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's the amount of technology. If you read about or if you study the old space program, yeah, I think maybe I'm trying to get a handle on this camera thing, and I'm wondering if that tree being there, it seems like it really happened as we were going past that tree. So maybe it does have something to do with the camera collision disable. Curious. All right. When you see the history of the Mercury and Gemini and Apollo programs, like the joke was, we're just riding into space strapped to fireworks. There was a lot of technology, obviously a lot of technology, but the solid boosters and even some of the liquid fuel boosters that they used, it was a miracle that more people weren't killed. But the amount of technology and the materials that go into them and all the things that it takes to build one of these things, the idea that you use it once and then just let it burn up and fall back to Earth, it seems like that was more acceptable in the 1960s when there was maybe less technology and less money invested in some of those boosters. Yeah, I'm using, as far as I know, there's only one. I'm using the one from the mod hub, but I've been trying to track like when the camera jumps around like that, because it basically turns like 180 degrees. I thought it was a phantom input from one of my devices, but now I'm wondering if it's not that camera collision disable mod. The easiest way to check is just to turn it off, but I could try that. See if that contributes to it at all. Yeah, I mean, the idea that a private business would be the first to Mars is I like capitalism, but I don't worship capitalism. It's a system. It works pretty well, but it's not perfect by any means. And it's not, anytime I hear a libertarian say they like capitalism because under capitalism everybody gets rich, it's like, man, I don't know where you studied economics, but capitalism does not make everybody rich. Unless you've got a solution for massive uncontrolled inflation, but that's a story for another day. So I like capitalism. I don't worship it, but the idea that capitalism could get to Mars before a public project is amazing. It really, really is. I'm driving on my row here. Yeah, I mean, the Boston Dynamics dogs, I don't know if you've seen the synchronized drones. It's terrifying, because they say that what we see, right? Like what companies let us see DARPA projects, it's like 10 to 15 years behind the classified stuff that the government has. And there's video you can get of, they're mini drones. There may be 6 or 8 inches across, but there's like 40 of them flying in these unbelievably tight, elaborate formations, like top speed, figure 8, all 40 of them, just doing figure 8s and passing each other. And the technology for them to all detect each other, and they're tiny, they're just tiny little things. But the technology that's on board, the sensors, all that stuff. So when you talk about like unmanned rockets linking up with drones and guidance and autopilot and the rest of the technology that we're seeing now, it's unnerving. The Boston Dynamics dogs kind of freak me out, I have to say. The dancing ones, yeah. That's going to be what kills us. I don't mean as individuals. I mean like as a species. That's some Skynet right there. Let's monitor. Let's see how it all plays out. And I think the idea for years was that soldiers would have an exosuit, right? Because you would still need the brain on board, but you would have this big suit that would give you super strength, and you could jump and you could run, and it would be armor and all these other things. But seeing what AI is doing, controlling robotics now, like those Boston Dynamics dogs, seeing what AI is doing to control these things, it's like, yeah, maybe we don't need a person inside. Yeah, I mean, we've had a good run. It's been fun. We've had a good run. So there is like, you can say that there are 100 billion galaxies that have been counted so far. And it's such a big number that it's almost unimaginable. It's inconceivable. But the best description I've heard of it was, if you were to stand in the middle of a football field, an American football field is 100 yards long, right? So if you stand on the 50-yard line, it's 150 feet in every direction. And so you make a dome 150 feet out. You visualize yourself standing on the 50-yard line. You make a dome. Left, right, front, back, and overhead, it's 50 yards. So then you're going to break that dome into segments. And every segment is going to be as big as a tennis ball. So now you visualize a dome over you, 150 feet over your head, 150 feet in all directions to all sides. 150-foot dome made of tennis balls. So Hubble scanned one of those tennis balls. That was approximately the area that Hubble could see with its maximum detail, right? Maximum clarity. So Hubble scanned one of those tennis balls, and inside it they were able to count 10,000 galaxies. So I don't know how many intelligent species there are in 100 billion galaxies, and every galaxy has millions of suns, and every sun has a dozen planets, etc., etc. But there is just an almost infinite number of planets just in our universe. So the idea that we're that's ridiculous. So I don't know how many other intelligent or advanced civilizations there are throughout the universe, but we're just one of them, and we've had our run. I don't know what's going to take us out, whether it's going to be a black hole or Boston Dynamics or plague, who knows. But when I think about all the other species that are out there, it's like, yeah, it's, we come and go. We're not the be all end all of the universe. It's just too big. There's no way we're the center of it. Bob Lazar. I love and hate that guy. I have no idea what his deal is. But I love listening to him on Art Bell, but he kind of drives me crazy. I think he's still alive. He wasn't... Oh, I thought you said living. I'm looking out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, I don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. It makes you wonder that, if there were those kind of secrets and somebody was going on the radio and talking about them, that he wouldn't have an accident. You know what I'm saying? Somebody wouldn't take him out. He is entertaining, though. Let's get backed up here. So pipe out. If I didn't know this was made by a third party, I would have no problem thinking this DLC was made by Giants. And the quality is definitely there. So no complaints about that. All right, so this is going to be, it's 20% capacity per harvester load, so it's at 60% now. Let's go ahead and pick up the rest of these. Yeah, I mean, if you're a 3-letter agency, if you're a government agency, that has got to be a very difficult calculus. Like, what do? Do we let this fool keep talking about all our secrets? Or do we take him out the game and risk people investigating? Right? Trying to figure out what happened to him. I don't know if I'm cut out for that kind of work. I don't know if I'm the person you want making those decisions. I would probably not make the right one. What's that, Ernie? The DLC or the Bob Lazar documentary? Yeah, I agree. I think, but that sort of cuts both ways, because at the same time it makes you wonder if he wasn't, right? If he wasn't silenced, maybe it's because what he's saying isn't really, nobody cares, right? Like nobody at the NSA, nobody at Naval Intelligence, nobody cares. You can say anything you want, man. You're just talking nonsense. So I think it doesn't exactly add to his credibility, but who knows? Who knows? I think it was several streams ago we were talking about this persistent rumor that the government introduces kooks into movements like that with the idea of discrediting them. If you bring people into a controversial truth movement and you have them just spout nonsense, it makes anybody who says anything on that topic look like they're spouting nonsense, which is, it's devious, you know? I wouldn't put it past our government. Yeah, I mean, I think everything is supposed to be, there's like 180 days where everything has to be declassified in the US. That was just announced not too long ago. But the thing about declassifying is, like, who verifies this stuff? Right? Like, all right, government agency, you got 90 days to declassify everything. And they're like, all right, if you say so. And then 90 days later, they just give you like a bunch of old newspapers like, oh, there it is. That's all of it. It's all declassified now. And you've got no way to check, because the only person who knows whether or not that's everything is the person who's telling you that's everything. So, right? How do you verify? How do you confirm that? I don't know if it's even possible. I mean, they have released some really unnerving footage from military aircraft. I don't know why they're releasing it, because it's unnerving to see these... I don't know what they are. They seem to be vehicles of some kind. They're doing amazing things. And accelerating, turning, doing things that they've calculated they'd be pulling like 150 Gs. It's not something that a human being can sustain, so it's either being controlled by an AI, some type of autopilot, or I don't know, an alien. Who knows? But I don't know what those are. You know, I assume that they are either our stuff, either American military stuff, or, I don't know, somebody else, China, Iran, Russia, somebody's, stopping by. But I don't know why you would risk that kind of technology over the US, right? Because it's not invisible. It's just very, very fast. So who knows, man? It's from a certain angle, it doesn't make any sense that any government would let that be seen, right? It doesn't make sense that a foreign government would let that be photographed. They'd keep it hidden. It doesn't make sense that our government would essentially out itself, right? Dox itself. And we want to fold this thing up, do we not? This does fold, does it? Hang on. It is selected. We want to fold it. Why is it not folding? Oh, we got to put pipe in. Hang on. For FOIA, there's something called a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act. And there is a special sort of governing body, a review board, where if a journalist files a FOIA request, it has to be reviewed. And it can be, the response that you can get back sometimes is, yeah, no, this is staying classified. But very often, the order will come down that, yeah, whether you want to or not, you have to declassify this. And whatever government agency it is will have to go through the process of, like, compiling the information and sending it to that journalist. And very often those files come in with a lot of stuff redacted, sort of split the difference. But I know a lot of reporters have made FOIA requests for information about UFOs, and there hasn't been a ton of response. They haven't really copped to that. So, I don't know, man. Nothing would surprise me anymore. The older I get, the less surprised I am. All right, so I'm going to take this down to the yard. How long are we going? 2 hours, 50 minutes. Perfect. Let's bring that palletizer up here and see if we can box some of these up, see how that works, and then we'll call it. Perfect. And where's our turn? Is it right here? Yep. This trailer's a little too big for this map. Yeah, I think we go with it. If we were to do a lot of potatoes on this map, I think we would go with 2-axle. This is rough. All right, so we've got a little space to work in here. Or do we? Yeah, we do. We do. We can work right over here. All right. So we put this here. All right. And then we need... going to drop this. Pull this forward. How do you earn money? You sell crops, or you can sell milk from your cows. You can breed animals and sell them, like sell the actual animal itself after they reproduce. You can do contracts for other farmers. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any other ways to make money. No, that's it. All right, so we get turned around here. And I don't know how we move this thing around. I don't think it's a placeable. Oh yeah, definitely, Stan. I mean, if you're into... It is, in fairness, it is kind of a long play, slow play game. And from a certain angle... there's not really a point to it. Mostly it's just driving around in diggers. So the economy is sort of the framework. It's like the excuse as to what particular digger it is you're going to drive that day. But I think it's definitely worth it. It's one of my favorite franchises. Yeah, it is very relaxing. And you can do whatever you want. If you're into animals, you can just farm animals. If you're into crops, you can just do crops. There are add-ons that let you run businesses. We were talking about that earlier. So yeah, it is very relaxing. Definitely. So I don't know how we move this thing. I don't know if it's... because as we're looking at it now, I think it's unfolded. But I don't know how we pick it up. Oh, okay, I can see on that side. Looks like it's got slots for pallet forks. Okay, so we'll lease this thing. So that goes there. What does this thing weigh? Because we've got a telehandler. So let's get some pallet forks for that. We can just buy those. All right, so let's get some pallet forks going. Oh, it's not that big. Never mind. From the size of it, it looked like it was as big as a moving van. That's not too bad. Okay, I brought this thing down because I thought maybe it had a 3-point. We had to pick it up, but we don't. Okay. This is very much in the way. Oh, we got another door here. Or we can just return it. Yeah. Yep, that gets it out of the way. Okay. And here's our little Coloss Scorpion that I got. Oh, that's right. It's got the boom camera. There are cows, sheep, and pigs. And if you're not running mods, I want to say the cows and the pigs make manure that you can use as fertilizer. If you are running mods, I think the sheep can also make manure. Oh yeah, horses. I always forget about those because I never do anything with horses. But there are horses as well. Let's see if we can stick this out here. So you can breed sheep and sell the sheep. You can make wool, like harvest them for wool. You can, if you breed pigs, the only thing you can do with them is sell the baby pigs. Cows reproduce, you can sell those, but they also make milk. Wait, what? That's not what I wanted. I needed some perspective here. Now. It doesn't quite look like those line up. Oh, God. It's Gabe. Really? Lasers. Giants, I need you to make me some lasers so we can line this stuff up. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, looking at the pallet forks, and these are the base game pallet forks, it looks like they do not want to fit in there. So, I mean, we can adapt, improvise, and overcome, as they say. And just try to stuff it in one. Oh, this is some mini game right here. I don't know how we're meant to move this thing. I mean, I'm really at a loss here. It's not that big a deal. I'm just going to slide it over there, but I don't know. I didn't see a fork for it. When I looked under Grimme, I didn't see a specific fork for it. And when I looked under, we can look here. Yeah, I don't... Ah. Oh. Fried. All right. So we want to drive it. Okay, we can get in it, but we can't drive it. You know what? There's no bar on this. On this side, there's a bar. There's no bar over here. Maybe we can just get the pallet forks under it. Yeah, no, you're right. That's a very good idea. I think from this side, maybe you're not even meant to get the forks in there. Oh yeah. There you go. Easy as that. Yeah, I think that's the only way to unfold it. So I'm going to put this all the way over here, like dead center. Like so. Get this thing out of the way. Right back here. And then we want, I'm going to reposition our store delivery target. And if we go back here to Grimme, then the last thing will be this belt. And I imagine this belt you can get in and drive. So we'll lease that. Yep. I mean, this one's even got a little seat on it. Beautiful. All right. So if we get in here first. I'm impressed with it, Ernie. I think it's really well done. If we get in here, now is there a front and back to this thing? Okay. I didn't see any place to, because, you know, on this end, there is the hitch, right? I didn't see anything like that on here. Let's see if, when we unfold this, if anything pops out. Unfold belt. All right. I do think I put it in here backwards, and let's just straighten that out now, because I don't want the panel with the controls on it. I don't want that under the belt. That's not going to work. It just costs a lot less. Stan, it means you didn't buy it. So you can buy it for full price, and then when you sell it, depending on how much you've used it, you typically get a lot less. Or you can just lease it, and it's, I don't know, probably 5% of what it would cost to buy it. And since this is all a new DLC, and I don't plan on keeping any of it, just kind of experimenting with it, thought it made sense to lease most of this stuff. All right. So this thing, I mean, I just assumed that this belt here, because it came with the DLC, that you sort of needed it. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, game. All right, so we want to, like so. Can we raise it? I don't think we can. All right, so how do we get the potatoes up there? All right, so we need another belt. This is a bit confusing. So we go here now. Belt systems. Which is the one? This is the one that actually drops. Okay, so if we lease this one now. Oh. Yes, I do want to lease. Okay. So if we lease this one now, right? And we're going to raise this up. Try to get it centered here. We're going to raise this up and then put the end of the belt out over this loader thing. Is that right? So this will go here. I mean, I don't know if this is worth it. Fry, did you say you were using this thing earlier? Does that look... Oh. It's got to be perfect. All right. So this is good. It's good. All right, so we get back in here now. Oh. Back in this thing. Oh, yep, forgot about that. Pardon. So, here's the problem. What is that thing meant to connect to? I thought we could lift this. There we go. All right. So there's that. This is a serious minigame right now. My mind is taxed. Does not want to connect. I mean, can we just put it over that belt? Does it have to be connected? All right. So we're going to stop engine. That belt is on. Bet if this works. We're going to get in this one. Do we have to turn this one on as well? I don't know if we do or not. And then we get in this thing. Enable palette creation. Okay. Let's see if this works. You know, I don't know if this gets tall enough that we could put this belt all the way up over this thing. You think? I think you might be right. All right, if it doesn't work, we can just lease it again. All right, so we want to go here and get rid of this one. So we want this thing as high as it can possibly go. Ah, that was a mistake. It doesn't go very high. Yeah, we need that other thing. All right, so we do need this thing. We need this one right here. But I feel like we need to hook it up. I remember this thing, like it doesn't actually work unless you have it connected, maybe? Okay, so we want to lift, right? And then we want to extend. Ah, beautiful. All right, well, that was quick enough to do, so no problem there. And we'll hop back in this thing. Okay, so that is on. So we'll flip this thing around, dump some potatoes on the ground, see what happens. All right. There you go. All right. That's easy enough. So we can, yeah, I think that's enough to work with for now. All right. So let's go back here and see how this is doing. Beautiful. All right. And are these, I guess these are done already. So let's go grab our scorpion. Okay. I mean, everything works really, really well. And like I said, if I didn't know it was a third-party DLC, I would have no problem thinking the Giants had built that. It's really well done. No hit on frame rate. And $5 is an amazing price for, what, 14 pieces of kit? All right. So very carefully pick this up. And there you go. Straight away spawns a new pallet. Beautiful. And this is 1,750 liters of potato. So, yeah, I mean, I'm no fan. Oh, God. I definitely need to get something to eat. Been streaming too long. Beautiful. All right, there. That goes right there. Yeah, I've got... I'm not into potatoes, but I got nothing but good things to say about this. I'm really, really impressed with it. Yes, I would say approximately 1,000 times better than the Straw Harvest DLC. So I'll go through all the kit one more time, and then we'll call it. So you get these 3 weeders, 1.5 meter, 2.5 meter, 6 meter. You get 2 planters, both 1.5 meter, but one injects fertilizer. You get 2 harvesters. One lets you select what side the swath drops on. Sorry, 3 harvesters. And then one does not require a topper. You get this, I think of it like a forager, I guess. And then you get the palletizer, and you get a belt. And 2 trailers as well. So yeah, 14 pieces of kit for $5. That's not bad. Drivable conveyor is used for storing the potatoes in a shed. And the conveyor belt... Well, the thing about this conveyor belt right here, Fried, I don't know if you know this, but this conveyor belt is not self-loading. So you've got to get whatever it is that you're putting into it, you've got to get it up here somehow. This won't pick things up off the ground, so this will. And then the other one you can use is... Let me find it. The other one you can use is this one right here, the lizard. This is the other way that you can get things off the ground, but all of these need to have whatever it is that you're loading. It's got to be lifted up into it somehow, except for this one. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else you would, because this thing won't go high enough to get it up into the palletizer. So, I don't know. I mean, and this is Grimme as well. It's not DLC, but it is the same brand. So maybe that's how they mean for you to do it. I suppose you could also use a bucket and just dump them in here. You wouldn't necessarily have to use a belt. I don't know. But it seems like a lot of work for me. The conveyor loader goes high enough for the palletizer. We tried it. I couldn't get it that high. Does it extend out? I mean, maybe I missed a step. Hang on. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. So this is... Yeah, I mean, if you take it out, it doesn't get any higher. I don't know. I couldn't figure out a way to get it high enough to reach in there. The conveyor loader. Hang on. Conveyor loader. I'm not seeing it. It's the one with the yellow belt. Under belts in the store. Oh, okay, but it's not part of the DLC. Ah, It's lizard. That's why it's the... Okay. You're a genius. All right, so let's lease this thing. I got you. I was looking under Grimme rather than... Okay. Yep, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Fried. I appreciate that. Perfect. I don't know how you move this thing either. I guess... Got it. Right on. And this looks like it's big enough you could load into it with this thing, or you could load into it with a bucket. Okay. Let's turn this off. Quiet things down a little bit. All right, now I got to clean up this yard off camera. Got potatoes everywhere. All right. I don't know why you do. I mean, I guess in real life, Grimme doesn't make this piece of kit, so they couldn't license it. And that's why it has to be lizard. Who knows? Who knows? All right, there you have it. This is the Grimme Potato DLC. It's fantastic. It's $5. You should get it. I don't like potatoes, and even I like it. There you have it. All right, we'll come back tomorrow. We'll do some curveball. We'll rescue 3 astronauts. And then on, will the next day be? Thursday, we'll either be back here on Chellington or we'll be on Western Shore. And then Friday, we'll fly again. There you go. Flugtag. All right. Thanks, everybody. I do appreciate you. You're an awesome audience. Thanks for doing this with me. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.